common sense was, well, common. It was a time when people relied on their instincts and experiences to navigate through life. Families would gather around the dinner table, sharing stories and wisdom passed down through generations. Conversations were rich, filled with laughter, debates, and a genuine connection that seemed to bind everyone together. But today it feels like it's fading away, especially with the new generation. Why? Is it because our lives are now dominated by screens and digital interactions? The sight of young people absorbed in their smartphones has become all too common. In crowded streets, everyone seems to be in their own bubble, texting or scrolling through social media, oblivious to the world around them. Is it the constant distraction, the endless notifications, messages and updates that keep us glued to our devices? Even in the presence of family and friends, we often find ourselves more engaged with our screens than with the people around us. A family sitting together, yet each member is lost in their own digital world. A couple at a restaurant, not talking but scrolling through their phones. Is it the constant distraction? We're more connected than ever, but it seems like we're losing touch with reality. The irony is palpable. We have the world at our fingertips, yet we struggle to connect with the person sitting next to us. In coffee shops, subways and public spaces, people are engrossed in their devices, missing out on the world unfolding around them. Technology is amazing, but relying on it for everything might be dulling our instincts. We've become so accustomed to asking our voice assistants for answers, relying on smart home devices to manage our lives, and using our smartphones for even the simplest tasks. While these advancements have undoubtedly made our lives more convenient, they may also be eroding our ability to think critically and solve problems on our own. Social skills? Who needs them when you can text, right? The art of conversation is slowly being replaced by the convenience of texting. Friends sit together, yet their attention is divided between their companions and their screens. The nuances of face-to-face communication, the subtle cues, and the emotional connections are being lost in the digital translation. But are we losing the ability to think and communicate clearly? The struggle to communicate face-to-face is becoming more apparent. People find themselves at a loss for words, confused by the lack of a screen to mediate their interactions. Meetings that once fostered collaboration and idea sharing are now filled with silence, as participants are more comfortable typing than talking. Common sense used to mean figuring things out using your own experience. It was about reading a book to gain knowledge, fixing something at home with your own hands, or solving a puzzle with friends. These activities required patience, critical thinking, and a hands-on approach to problem solving. Now we turn to Google for everything. Need an answer? Just type it into a search engine. Looking for instructions? There's a tutorial for that. While the internet has made information more accessible than ever, it has also made us more dependent on it, often at the expense of our own problem-solving skills. Decision-making? It's harder when you're overwhelmed with choices and influenced by endless information online. The sheer volume of information available can be paralyzing. We are bombarded with choices, opinions, and data, making it difficult to make decisions confidently. The constant influx of information can lead to analysis paralysis, where we are so overwhelmed that we struggle to make any decision at all. So is common sense disappearing, or is it just evolving with the times? Perhaps what we perceive as a decline in common sense is actually an adaptation to a new reality. The younger generation is growing up in a world vastly different from the one their parents knew. They are learning to navigate a digital landscape, mastering new tools and technologies that previous generations could only dream of. Maybe it's not that the new generation lacks common sense. Maybe they're just adapting to a new world. They are finding new ways to connect, communicate, and solve problems. They are teaching older generations how to use technology, collaborating in ways that transcend geographical boundaries, and leveraging digital tools to create, innovate, and inspire. What do you think? Is common sense still common, or are we living in a whole new reality? The question remains, has common sense truly diminished, or has it simply transformed to meet the demands of a rapidly changing world? As we ponder this, we must consider the ways in which our own perceptions are shaped by the times we live in. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Share your experiences, your observations, and your thoughts on whether common sense is still common in today's digital age. Let's start a conversation and explore this topic together.